No pilfering, go! On June 19th, after floods hit Guangdong, a snack shop called Zhao Yiming Snacks was looted by local residents. In the video, a staff member is seen nervously filming with her phone, trying to stop people from stealing, but the situation was already out of control. People of all ages rushed into the store, some even brought young children with them, and started taking boxes of goods without hesitation. No one paid attention to the staff trying to stop them. Later, the shop owner's wife posted security footage online, showing the store being looted. Fighting back tears, she explained that all the goods her employees had risked their lives to save were taken. Even the cash register was pried open, and thousands of yuan in cash was stolen. The total loss was over hundreds of thousands of yuan. She said the floods had knocked out power and the internet, and they weren't able to return to the store right away. It was only after a kind neighbor called them several times that they found out that the shop had been looted. The shop owner himself posted angrily, blaming the looters and warning other business owners not to invest in the area. But what shocked people even more was the online comments from some users in Guangdong. Some casually dismissed it, saying, "It's just worthless junk, not even worth a few yuan," as if the stolen items were nothing but trash. Others tried to justify the looting by saying it was normal behavior, just expressed differently, trying to downplay the crime. The owner told Mingbao in Hong Kong that the police are now investigating, so he couldn't share more details. He's currently busy cleaning up the mess left by the disaster. There were reports that before the looting, some local users had encouraged people to go for $0 shopping at the snack shop, claiming the law doesn't punish the masses. After the incident, one person even bragged online about stealing 4 boxes of instant noodles and punching a staff member in the eye. He mocked, "What's the use of calling the police?" The store was only about 500 kilometers from the local police station. The incident sparked outrage online. Many people criticized the behavior and called for strict punishment. One comment said, "If these people aren't arrested, we will have no right to laugh at $0 shopping in the US. Another said, "If this isn't punished harshly, it'll keep happening." One thoughtful commenter said, "If someone's really starving after a flood, I can understand taking some food, but many of these people were dressed neatly. Some kids were still in school uniforms. Others wore dress shoes and carried little backpacks. It looked like they were shopping at a mall. That's a lack of basic decency. This isn't how people in a civilized country should behave." And Zhao Yiming Snacks wasn't the only victim. One man posted that he had used his boat to save at least 30 people. He couldn't even return home during the rescue, but when he stopped to rest for just 10 minutes, someone stole his boat. The video shows that recently, many areas in Guangdong have been hit by severe flooding, with torrents of water flooding both cities and villages. From above, it looks like the whole city is submerged. Some areas have bridges nearly submerged, and streets are completely covered by floodwaters. Ground-level shops are also flooded. In some places, entire buildings are almost submerged, and a highway overpass is filled with cars, yet the lower parts of the overpass are completely underwater. Some internet users jokingly said that after the flood, Guangdong looks like the Yellow River. Recently, Guangdong was hit by a typhoon, and on June 17th, heavy rain poured across the southern coast, with some areas experiencing extreme rainfall. A villager from Zhengzhou town in Haiji County, Zhaoqing, reported on the 17th that the water was almost reaching the second floor of his house, and furniture and appliances on the first floor were severely flooded. Another villager said the water level was rising quickly, and his fish and shrimp farm had connected with nearby ponds due to the flooding. According to public information, Haiji County is located in the northwest of Guangdong, the largest county in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area. It has a population of over 1 million. On the 17th, many netizens in Haiji posted videos showing that both the county town and Zhengzhou town were flooded due to the passing floodwaters. The flood in Haiji is rapid and has washed away various items. Everywhere you look, there's only floodwater and debris. When the flood came, residents' homes were torn apart. In the city, numerous cars were submerged. A van driver was seen struggling to drive through the floodwaters. In the mountain villages, some homes were completely washed away by the flood. In just a few days, many people in Haiji have gone bankrupt. The entire county town has turned into a city of water. The floodwaters are overwhelming. By 6:50 a.m. on June 18th, the Zhaoqi Hydrological Bureau recorded the water level at the Shuijiang Haiji station at 55.2 meters, breaking the historical record of 54.8 meters set in 1955. Some locals revealed to foreign media that the continuous and unannounced release of water from upstream reservoirs caused the Fenggang River and the Shuijiang to surge. By 7 a.m. on the 18th, the flood peak at Shuijiang Haiji station reached 55.2 meters, exceeding the warning level by 5.2 meters. Marking a once-in-a-century event and the largest flood since the station was built. Mr. Chen, a villager from Zhengzhou town, said, "There was no warning. The water came so fast. Within 10 minutes, the first floor was completely flooded, and the market area was about 2 meters deep." Mr. Zhang, a local business owner in Haiji County, said, "Too much water came down from upstream. I couldn't sleep. My stall is flooded, and the water's up to my neck." On the 18th, a reporter from Southern Daily saw that many roads in Haiji County were flooded, with water reaching the second floor of some buildings. The flood caused widespread power outages in the county. Few lights were on in tall buildings, and some high-rise residents had to stay outside on the streets as elevators stopped working. The guardrails and street signs were submerged underwater, and some people were sitting on top of their cars waiting to be rescued. Some shop owners waited for rescue inside their stores, where the water was chest deep. A resident in Haiji County told Jimu News that since the 17th, they had been without power and internet. On the 18th, a communication vehicle arrived, briefly restoring the internet, but the signal was very poor. A couple who had just evacuated said they lived about 700 meters from the intersection at Yandu Square. The water started rising there on the 16th, and at that time, the water level was only a few tens of centimeters. But by the afternoon of the 17th, the rain intensified, and the water level began to rise, reaching the second floor. They said this area floods every year, but they never expected the water to rise this high. In previous years, the highest it got was up to their calves. Another resident said the water flooded their home in the early hours of the 18th. They spent the night lifting their belongings, but the water rose to 2 meters, and their furniture and other items were completely damaged. According to preliminary statistics, by 7 a.m. on the 18th, 19 towns and villages in Haiji County were affected, with 183,000 people impacted. Approximately 68,000 people were urgently relocated. Around 7.8 kilometers of dikes were damaged. Almost 9 kilometers of roads were destroyed, 898 hectares of crops were affected, 13 schools were damaged, and 3 hospitals were impacted. The estimated direct economic loss is about 41 million yuan. After the flood, Haiji County was in ruins. The flood is about 1.62 to 1.63 meters high. In the video, the woman stands at the door of her home, which had been flooded. She was covered in yellow mud. She looks helplessly at the devastation around her. Both the inside and the outside of her house are covered in mud. The street outside is piled with silt and debris. The silt is about as deep as an adult man's calf. Inside the house, various items that have been soaked in floodwaters and yellow mud are pushed into the doorway. Sofas and clothes are covered, and everything's a mess. There's still muddy water on the floor from the flood. I'll tell you, there's nothing left. In one night, it all went back to square one. Everything is gone. 2 small cars, 1 electric bike, home appliances, furniture, all of our clothes and bedding, office supplies, computers, printers, everything was flooded. All my possessions are gone. Earlier, we mentioned a looting incident. Actually, looting in the face of disaster has become commonplace in China. In August 2023, a major flood in Zhuozhou, Hebei, was caused by upstream dam releases. When a civilian rescue team came to deliver supplies, an unpleasant incident occurred. The rescue workers stated that as soon as the supply vehicle stopped, a group of strong young men rushed to loot the supplies. Older people also joined in. In order to distribute the supplies in an orderly manner, the rescue workers had to retrieve the looted items, but when they tried to redistribute them, they were scolded by the crowd in the scene. There were also netizens who claimed to have participated in disaster relief efforts and shared that when distributing food, they were met with looting, with people pulling at the car doors and even scratching their faces. It's hard to imagine that rescue teams would experience such incidents. It's almost unbelievable. Another man, named Li, was an employee at a company in Baoding, Hebei. He felt deeply saddened when he saw flooding in Zhuozhou. He decided to join his colleagues in collecting supplies like instant noodles, biscuits, mineral water, towels, and toothbrushes. Lee said that shortly after they parked, a group of young men rushed over to loot the supplies from their vehicle. They tried to stop them and asked them to queue up, but the looters ignored them and even insulted them, accusing them of trying to profit from the situation. Li Ming said that after being criticized by the crowd, they had no choice but to leave the area. They felt both wronged and helpless. Looting did not only occur during the disaster. Recently, over 25,000 kilograms of ripe peaches grown in Jiangsu were looted by nearby residents. According to a report from China Central Radio, on June 19th, Mr. Zhang from Xuzhou contracted nearly 300 acres of mountain land. Among these, about 123 acres of peach trees have entered their mature stage. On the morning of June 10th, local villagers began arriving one after another to pick peaches. Over 8 acres of peach trees were stripped clean, with an estimated loss of over 25 tons of peaches. Mr. Zhang said, at the time, the workers in the orchard couldn't stop them. The report stated that many of the broken branches in the orchard revealed brown stumps, and the metal fence surrounding the orchard had been torn open or knocked down in several places, leaving gaps. There were no peaches left on the trees. On the same day, potatoes grown by Mr. Chen in Anhui were also looted by villagers. A commenter believes the harm caused by such looting is multifaceted. For the peach farmer, Mr. Zhang, it's a huge financial loss. From a social perspective, looting disrupts social order and fairness. When it comes to looting, one of the most memorable incidents is probably the looting that happened during the pandemic. In 2020, 40,000 masks intended for a city in Hubei were stolen during transport. An investigation revealed it was the driver who stole the goods. A volunteer continued to contact the truck driver, but once the goods were loaded, the driver stopped answering calls. When she finally got in touch with him again, the driver denied ever having loaded the 40,000 masks. During the Shanghai lockdown, similar looting incidents occurred. Of course, these situations were partly due to the Chinese Communist Party's failure to provide sufficient supplies. In April 2022, a Shanghai citizen shared their experience of the absurdity they witnessed. There weren't enough volunteers or food. The distribution of breakfast triggered a scramble among those who had been hungry all night. Those who didn't get any food had to stay hungry. Other supplies were still unavailable. Worse off were more than 10 vehicles that arrived in the middle of the night, but were not allowed in. The vehicles containing children and elderly people had to wait from early morning till the afternoon. A Shanghai resident witnessed the looting. He had told foreign media that there was no food, no water, and no hot water. Nothing at all. People were starving. When staff distributed supplies, there was no organization, and chaos broke out. Someone would grab the supplies, and a group of people would rush in to steal. There were around 1,000 people at the scene. This kind of looting wasn't just happening among ordinary people. During the pandemic, even people in positions of power, such as urban management and neighborhood committees, were involved in looting. In 2020, a Wuhan resident posted online, "I'm from Hubei, and to be honest, I don't want you to donate. You can sell to us instead. Many of the donations you've sent, we don't know who took them. Since the outbreak, everything I've eaten I've had to pay for. So seeing you all give everything to help us Hubei people, I feel really bad." In WeChat groups, people often discuss the expensive and poor quality fruits and vegetables they had to buy. There were also numerous reports of donated supplies in Wuhan being intercepted by people with official connections, including urban management and the police. Officials took what they wanted, and the food was either wasted or thrown away, while ordinary citizens had to scrape by with little money for daily necessities. Other Chinese netizens shared their frustrations, saying, "Look at this. This is the urban management, looting goods from a large truck. Friends, urban management is no different from bandits. They're looting goods. Look at them. Are they not like bandits?" What's even more infuriating is that during the pandemic, essential supplies like masks were being looted by powerful groups and then resold for profit. In 2020, netizens in Nanning, Guangxi ordered a batch of masks online. When they received the mask from a micro-business seller, they discovered that the 4,000 masks were from Wuhan, supplied by the Wuhan City Federation of Trade Unions, and the packaging clearly labeled them as rescue supplies. A Wuhan volunteer told Radio Free Asia that as Wuhan was the city hardest hit by the pandemic, rescue supplies should have been strictly managed. However, there must have been some powerful groups operating behind the scenes. Ms. Ma, a resident of Wuhan, said, "At such a critical time, there are heartless people who resell these supplies to profit. Isn't this profiteering off of national disaster? These people should face severe punishment." This reveals a disturbing habit of looting in China, from ordinary citizens to powerful elites, and the more severe the disaster, the more pronounced this behavior becomes. It creates a society where everyone is out for themselves, and everyone is an enemy to one another. This is a testament to how the Chinese Communist Party has rapidly undermined traditional values and the moral fabric of Chinese society. In the midst of looting, the little remaining conscience that people had was obliterated.